If you're a business owner, importer, or just curious about logistics, understanding the terminology is crucial for making informed decisions about the transportation of goods. Hello, my name is Juan Lara, and today I'm going to help you navigate the import process like a pro. I have compiled 10 commonly used terms in international trade. We will discuss terms like bill of lading, detention, IZZI, FCL, Demurrage, among others. This video will break down the concepts in a way that is easy for you to understand and remember. Let's get started, and let's start with bill of lading. The bill of lading is a legal document that serves as evidence of the contract between a shipper and a carrier for the transportation of goods. It establishes the terms of the agreement, including quantity and description of goods, destination, and route. The bill of lading is also an important document for customs clearance as it certifies good receipt and ownership. Furthermore, it provides proof that all charges have been paid or are due to be paid by either party involved in the transaction. But let's talk about a little bit other purposes of the bill of lading. The first one is it serves as both a receipt for the goods being shipped as a legal evidence of the contract between the parties. Second, the document ensures that the goods are delivered in good condition and confirms the terms and conditions of their shipment. Third, the bill of lading covers all aspects of transportation, including liability for loss or damages, cargo insurance, and payment for services rendered. It also provides protection for both the buyer and the seller by providing detailed information about what is being shipped and when it will arrive at its destination. And fifth, by having this document, customers can assure that their goods are secure and accounted for during transit. Now we're going to talk about demurrage. Demurrage sounds like a strange word, fancy word, but it's very simple. When the container arrives to the port, it takes like 1 or 2 days to be available to you, depending, of course, on other processes. But after that time, you have some free days to get the container out of the port. If you don't, then they start charging you a fee. That fee is called demurrage. So usually carrier will give you 3, 4, 5 days, free days, and after that they start charging you the fee for not getting the container out of the port. And you have to be very careful because that fee increases the more time you take to get the container out of the port. So simple. Demurrage is the late fee, let's say, they charge you because you don't take the container out of the port. Not always depends on you. That's something we're going to see in the next videos. There are other considerations that you will have to take into account. So, but that's demurrage. Our next one, it's very similar but different. It's called detention. Detention is similar but different as demurrage. Let's say you got the container out on time, but then it's taking you too long to return the empty container back to the port or the yard. That's when detention fee occurs. There's a period of time, you need to take them back, the containers, the empty containers. If you don't, they will charge you. Sometimes they charge you daily or weekly. It depends on the negotiation you have or that the freight forwarder has with the carrier. The sooner you get rid of the container, the better for you. Demurrage and detention. So they're very similar. They happen in a different time of the process, but there are some common causes of either detention of demurrage. The first one is things that you don't have control of. For example, bad weather, labor issues. Probably you heard last year all these labor issues, strikes, and shortage of equipment, things that you cannot control and that it can happen to you. The second one are delays because during the customs clearance process. Sometimes customs want to check what you're bringing in, a detailed check, so they order to bring the container, open it, check it, go through x-rays, so forth and so on. So that that could take some time, and then you will incur in detention, or I mean more demurrage than detention, but still, time is always running in this. Now the other thing is delay in documentation or loss of documentation. If you need some document that is not ready or that is wrong or it takes time to get it, that consumes time, and time is important. The other one is the error in the documentation, or you need to amend it and then exporter in origin, they need to send it, and not always is email. It depends on different circumstances. So that's always something that you have to take into account too. Probably there are congestion in the yard or the port, so you can not take the container out, or the carrier is waiting for some type of payment, so they will not release the container until you are free. I mean, that you have paid all your duties or your dues. So that's another one. And even it sounds surprising, but the last one is it shouldn't happen ever, but it has happened. They cannot get a hold on the consignee. They cannot get contact. They cannot contact the consignee, so there is no one responsible, and the container is there at the port, getting all these fees. So just be aware, demurrage and detention, they are late fees in different circumstances, different time of the process, but you need to be aware of. Our next term is FCL. FCL stands for full container load, and it's a mode of transport when you have enough cargo to fill a container completely. And it's just standard size containers. You just fill it up and then you start moving it. It has some advantages. For example, if you have that amount of goods to transport, then it's cheaper for you to move a full container than loose cargo. The cargo suffers less because there is no moving it around from one place to another one. So it's everything on the container, in the container. So that's it. It's better for the cargo. Then we got LCL, which is less than a container load, which is the opposite. It's when you don't have enough cargo, you just share the space in a container. And what happens is it's cheaper for you to move it that way because the lesser amount of cargo. One advantage of LCL is the flexibility, because when you in your supply chain, if you have a full container and you need to make accommodations or changes, it's more difficult than if you have an LCL, where finding a space to move the cargo is usually easier than the full container. So that's it. FCL, full container load. LCL, less than a container load. It depends on the amount of cargo that you have. Now, our next term is drayage. Drayage is the movement of the goods from the port to the final destination. Usually, we're talking about containers, but there are other vehicles like trailers or specialized trucks that do the same thing. And drayage is usually done by a third party that they are specialized in intermodal freight, and they know how the port works, what to do and how to get faster, or things like that. So usually a third party who does that for you or for us. Now, it has some challenges. For example, customs problems, or there is a long and unpredictable overall truck turn time at marine terminals. Probably you saw last year in the news that the drivers had to wait so many hours to get into the port, or just the port is too congested, the terminal queuing or processing delays, or sometimes there are extra drayage trips, which they're called dry runs. Let's say truck goes there to get the container out, and guess what? He cannot make it. So that's a dry run. They will charge you for that because they tried, but it was not their fault. And or sometimes there is a shortage of drivers, or just a lack of capacity from the carriers. Drayage might sound strange, but it's very simple: moving the goods from the port to a destination, or from the destination, from the origin destination to the port. That's it. So our next term is cross-docking. Cross-docking, it's a logistic procedure that allows you to transfer the goods from the inbound truck to the outbound truck without storing them in a warehouse. And what this can help you with is with reducing your costs, because you are not paying warehousing, and also the inventory levels, and with the order cycle times. But it has some challenges like timing, inaccurate inventory tracking, unreliable third-party logistics, the trucks they have to hire, and then this can be an increased risk of damaged goods because they're moving fast from one truck to another one. So cross-docking it's interesting for some companies, but it's not suitable for all of them. So it's something you maybe want to look for, but take a good consideration of it. Our next term is ISF 10+2. The ISF is a filing that must be submitted to the CBP for all ocean shipments that are coming into the United States. And it has one important aspect. It has to be filed in 24 hours in advance before the ship departs from the port of origin. And what is this for? Because the form has important information for the CBP so they can detect high-risk shipments. And the form asks for who is the shipper, the importer, the consignee, what is the content of the shipment, of course, and what is the origin of the goods. So in that way, the CBP knows what's coming, and if there are something they have to be aware of, if there is a high-risk shipment, maybe dangerous goods, or smuggling, or things like that. The important thing, the form is very easy to fill out, but the important thing is that it has to be filled 24 hours in advance of the shipment of the ship leaving the port of origin. Our next term is C-TPAT. And what C-TPAT stands for is the Customs Trade Partnership Against Terrorism. And it is a voluntary supply chain security program that was established by the CBP in the wake of September 11 terrorist attacks. The program is designed to enhance the security of the global supply chain. The C-TPAT certification is designed to provide importers with a level of assurance that their supply chain is secure and that they are in compliance with CBP security regulations. There are a number of benefits of becoming a C-TPAT certified. For example, reduced inspections and wait times at port of entry, as well as access to the CBP's Trusted Trader program. In addition, and maybe this is very important for you because it can help you grow your business, the certification helps you as an importer to have a good reputation and to be considered a reliable business partner by other companies in the supply chain. That might help you to grow your business, not only just complying with customs regulations, but this one is important. Our last but not least term, dumping. Dumping is the practice of selling a product in a foreign market at a price that is lower than the price of the same product in the local market or is below its production cost. Dumping is considered to be a form of unfair trade, of course, because it allows foreign companies to undercut the destination domestic companies and gain market share. If a foreign company is found to be engaging in dumping, the government may impose additional tariffs or trade barriers to level the playing field and protect the domestic companies. Now, as an importer, you can be penalized for buying and importing dumped goods. Even if you say you were not aware of it, you can be penalized. Now, in that sense, it's important that you know who you are buying from. And remember our last term, the C-TPAT certification will help you with this, to know better your suppliers, and so you don't have this type of issues. So think about it. In conclusion, understanding the key terms of international logistics is essential for a business that wants to be competitive and successful in today's global market. These 10 terms that we just saw are commonly used, but there are more others that you want to check and to be familiar with. We hope that this video has helped you understand these terms and how they apply to your business. No one expects you to have to learn or memorize all of these at once, but the important thing is to be familiar with them. Freight forwarding is constantly evolving, so it's always a good idea to be informed and updated with the latest industry trends and terminology. To stay up to date on the latest developments in international logistics and best practices for importers, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Thanks for watching and good luck on your logistics journey.